I told my agent, get me to Luka, no excuses.
The NBA is on the edge of one of the biggest shakeups we have seen in years. Luka Doncic landing in Los Angeles was not just a flashy trade, it cracked the league wide open and forced everyone to rethink the balance of power. Now here is where things get serious. Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent are reportedly working behind the scenes with one clear objective: lining up a future where Giannis ends up with the Lakers next to Luka. This is not noise, this is movement. And no, this is not another lazy fan theory. Today, I am breaking down exactly how Giannis and his team are planning this step by step. Once you connect these dots, this trade window starts to look very different. And if you think this is just a pipe dream, you are not paying attention. Star players getting traded is normal. Players thinking about their next move is normal. But a two-time MVP and champion even hinting at leaving the only franchise he has ever known, that hits different. So let's unpack how this went from internet fantasy to a real front office discussion. It all starts with Luka Doncic being moved to the Lakers, one of the wildest trades in recent memory. That move did not just change one team, it shifted the entire league timeline. Instead of being just another MVP rival stuck in Dallas, Luka Doncic is now the face of the Lakers, a true franchise pillar in the biggest market in basketball. And that matters a lot for Giannis, because timing runs everything in this league. When one superstar suddenly becomes available and open to new ideas, right after another superstar lands in Los Angeles, people around the league start doing the math. Especially when that city has global reach, non-stop media pressure, and a front office that never sleeps. Now here is where it really gets interesting. Beyond the idea of teaming up with Luka, Giannis Antetokounmpo has quietly been having serious talks about his future in Milwaukee. ESPN's Shams Charania reported that Giannis and his agent have been meeting with the Bucks front office to figure out whether staying long-term still makes sense or if it is time to look at other fits around the league. No final decision has been made yet, but the fact that these conversations are happening at all is massive. This is the first time in his entire career that Giannis has openly allowed the idea of something other than being a buck for life to sit on the table. And if you think this all started recently, think again. Multiple outlets have said that back around 2020, Giannis was already eyeing big market situations. Miami was mentioned, Dallas was mentioned, and both were real options before he chose to stay in Milwaukee and eventually win a title. Now pause on the timing for a second. Back then, Luka Doncic was already the face of the Mavericks. He was already running the offense, already in MVP conversations, already labeled as the next generational star. So when Giannis seriously considered Dallas, he was not looking at a rebuild. He was looking straight at a future built around Luka. That idea never disappeared. It just went quiet after the championship run. Now fast forward to today, with the Lakers suddenly in play and Luka already there, and the pattern becomes hard to ignore. Yeah, it feels strange even talking about Giannis being available. He helped build the Bucks into contenders. He delivered a title. His loyalty was never questioned. But loyalty only stretches so far when the league keeps shifting around you. The Bucks have lost ground. His contract gives him flexibility. And for the first time, Giannis is clearly stepping back and asking what he really wants the rest of his career to look like. Once you stop treating this like a fake trade machine scenario and start looking at it like real people making real choices, it clicks. Giannis chasing Luka is not random at all. This has been building quietly for years, and it has been happening right in front of everyone. Giannis has always talked about Luka differently. Every time Luka's name comes up, Giannis does not sound robotic or media-trained. He sounds genuinely impressed and sometimes even excited. Over the years, especially during All-Star weekends, you can see it clearly in how Giannis jokes with Luka, how relaxed the conversations are, and how real the respect feels. None of it ever looks forced. It feels like mutual understanding, not small talk. Giannis has publicly praised Luka's basketball IQ more than once. He has talked about how Luka sees plays before they even develop, how he controls the game without needing to be the fastest or the strongest guy on the floor. And that matters, because this is coming from someone who knows exactly what it takes to carry an entire franchise night after night.
Malika, sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Saratas have started open conversations that are active right now with the Milwaukee Bucks.
When Giannis compliments Luka, it is not hype, it is recognition. This is respect from one alpha to another, and it goes deeper than NBA media narratives. European outlets have grouped Giannis and Luka together for years as the faces of European basketball. Not rivals, but leaders. Different styles, different journeys, same weight when it comes to pushing the league global. They are constantly mentioned in the same breath, and that matters. Giannis clearly sees himself as part of something bigger. He has said before that he wants European players to win and succeed in the biggest markets under the brightest lights. He wants them taken seriously as faces of the league, not just international stars passing through. Luka fits that vision perfectly. Same background pressure, same expectations, same understanding of representing more than just yourself every time you step on the court. And here's the part people seriously underestimate. The interest has been mutual. Luka has reportedly asked internally about the possibility of the Lakers making a move for Giannis. Now put it all together, Luka is in Los Angeles. Giannis is at a crossroads. What once felt like a distant fantasy suddenly feels very real. That is why we need to revisit what Giannis said about Luka, the Lakers, and European stars ending up in major markets. At first, it sounded playful, almost casual, like a superstar dreaming out loud. But timing changes everything. When Giannis said it, Luka was already in Los Angeles. American media brushed it off as a soundbite, but looking back now, it reads very differently. But in Europe, this was never treated like a joke. Media over there framed it as Giannis laying out a vision. Not just talking hoops, but talking influence, visibility, and legacy on the league's biggest stages. It was about European stars stepping into power roles, not waiting for permission anymore. What once sounded light and playful now looks like intention meeting opportunity. This is no longer about rumors or fans playing fantasy GM. We are talking about the possible formation of something that could seriously shake the entire league, and that context matters. Luka landing in Los Angeles did not just plug a roster hole. It completely rewrote the Lakers' identity moving forward. For years, LeBron James was the gravitational force. He set timelines, pulled stars in, and kept the Lakers at the center of the basketball universe. But LeBron is clearly nearing the end of that run, and everyone in the league knows it. So Luka did not just put on a Lakers jersey. He stepped straight into that power vacuum. Everything now orbits around him. The Lakers instantly went from a team in transition to one of the most fascinating situations in the NBA. And this is exactly why it matters so much for Giannis. Luka is young, like genuinely young for a superstar with that level of control and polish. He is elite, flexible, and adaptable. He does not need others to bend around him. He can adjust to almost anyone and any system.
Luka! Magic, I want magic now. Now this is the time. Come on. I want it.
He's an incredible player, incredible talent. Arguably, probably one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's unbelievable what he can do for himself and his team.
That is huge for Giannis. He is not trying to babysit or carry a roster by himself anymore. He wants a real partner, someone who complements his game instead of overlapping it. And Luka checks every single box. Let's be real, the Lakers did not just land a star, they secured a whole decade. Most franchises would do anything to lock in a generational talent like Luka with the resources to build properly around him. For Giannis, that looks like a green light flashing, a place where he can land, stay competitive, and build something serious with a teammate he genuinely respects. The way Luka Doncic pulls talent is completely different from how LeBron James did it. LeBron attracted stars with power, legacy, and gravity. Luka attracts them with fit, flow, and chemistry. He makes elite players look at the game and think, yeah, I can really thrive next to this guy. That is the key difference here. This is not about building around one ego or one voice. This is about building around how basketball actually works on the floor. Spacing, reads, timing, and trust. So after LeBron, the Lakers could have drifted into uncertainty. That part is real. But Luka stepping in flipped everything instantly. He turned the Lakers into a destination again, not for players chasing headlines, but for stars chasing real basketball synergy and long-term purpose. And if you are paying attention, this is exactly why Milwaukee starts to feel smaller by comparison. Giannis has built an incredible career with the Bucks. MVPs, a championship, global respect, all of it. But even at his peak, the Bucks keep running into the same walls. Let's talk playoffs. In 2021, they broke through and won the title, a legendary run. In 2022, Giannis was unreal against Boston, averaging around 34.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. But they still fell short in the second round. In 2023, it got even tougher, with Milwaukee getting stunned early by Miami, despite being a top seed. The league has learned how to slow Giannis down just enough. He is still dominant, but even he knows there are limits when the roster around him cannot relieve pressure consistently. Winning once was massive, but it did not unlock the repeatability he is clearly chasing now. And let's keep it honest, the supporting cast is not what it used to be. That 2021 group with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday was built to win. Since then, the roster has shifted into a patchwork of solid but imperfect pieces. Miles Turner brings rim protection and shooting. Kyle Kuzma can get buckets. But after that, you are looking at players like Cole Anthony and Gary Trent Jr., useful contributors, not guys who tilt playoff series year after year. Now add the salary cap reality. Milwaukee is deep into tax territory, boxed in by contracts and limited flexibility. Bringing in another true star means gutting assets or money they cannot easily move. The books are tight, the margin is thin, and the scoreboards tell the story.
I want all the Europeans to go to all the big markets, to see something incredible. This is what I want. This is my dream.
That is why Luka in Los Angeles changes everything. For Giannis, this is not about rings or money anymore. It is about landing somewhere that actually maximizes him basketball-wise, with a teammate who makes the game easier, not heavier. Last season told the whole story if you looked closely. With Giannis on the floor, the Bucks posted a plus 3.1 net rating, meaning they outscored teams by about 3 points every 100 possessions. Take him off the court, and that number flipped to around minus 0.3. That swing says everything. Their success literally lives and dies with him out there. And the early numbers this season make it even louder. With Giannis playing, Milwaukee sits close to a plus 4.5 net rating. When he steps off, they drop into the red at roughly minus 1.2. In plain terms, when Giannis plays, the Bucks compete. When he sits, things fall apart fast. That kind of dependency does not scream built for multiple titles. It screams one superstar dragging the whole operation forward. And then you add injuries into the mix. Damian Lillard missing time earlier this year exposed cracks they could not hide. Even with Giannis putting up MVP-level numbers, the structure around him just is not elite. The Bucks do not have enough top-tier defenders or consistent shot creators to punish teams when they sell out on Giannis. Opponents know the plan. Pack the paint, crowd the lanes, force him into tough mid-range looks. Without another star who can reliably create or knock down shots, the offense starts to feel predictable. And predictable does not survive deep playoff runs. Put all of that together, and a tough truth starts to form. Milwaukee gave Giannis what it needed to once: a title, a legacy moment. But it does not look like the environment most likely to deliver multiple championships or a dynamic long-term partnership. That is why the Lakers situation hits differently right now. Luka is already there. The foundation is already set. The idea of something truly generational suddenly feels realistic. But here is where it really gets interesting. What would it actually look like with Giannis and Luka on the floor together? Talking trades is one thing. Imagining the basketball fit is another level entirely. Giannis is already a downhill force. He attacks like a freight train, cleans the glass, switches onto wings, protects the rim, and impacts both ends every night. Still, even he runs into walls in the half court. Teams know what is coming. They load the paint, funnel help defenders, and force contested shots that are not efficient. And that is exactly where Luka changes everything. That is exactly where Luka comes into the picture. Luka is one of the deadliest half-court creators in the league right now. He reads defenses before they are even fully set, pulls help defenders out of position, and delivers the ball to Giannis right where it hurts the most. When Giannis is rolling, cutting, or slipping, Luka's vision turns basic pick and rolls into a straight-up nightmare for defenses.
You put him in Luka. Within 2 to 3 years, he'll win in the championship. He's averaged 30 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists for the last 5 years.
The Austin Reeves of it all is very interesting. If I'm Milwaukee, I demand him. I wouldn't do the trade without him. Do you want to do that? Right? I mean, that's a tough one, but that's who they would ask for. You're not going to get Luka, so you got to get the next best guy, and that's Austin.
Giannis is already scary in those actions because of his size, speed, length, and finishing. But here is the truth. Milwaukee has never had a guard who could fully unlock that potential. Luka can. In clutch moments, Giannis attacks downhill while Luka spaces the floor, drags defenders with him, or creates wide-open lanes for Giannis to explode through. And this is not just fan talk. Even Gilbert Arenas backed this idea on his podcast. He said that within a couple of years, a Giannis and Luka pairing could absolutely win championships. That matters coming from someone who understands star dynamics and pressure situations. Right now, Giannis is carrying Milwaukee on both ends. He is scoring, defending, rebounding, doing everything. He is averaging around 31 points and nearly 12 boards a night, but his efficiency drops when defenses collapse on him and dare others to beat them. Luka changes that instantly. Luka's elite scoring and playmaking take a massive load off Giannis. Defenses cannot pack the paint anymore. They cannot cheat. Someone always pays. And defensively, the fit still works. Luka does not need to be a lockdown defender in this setup. Giannis handles rim protection, switches onto wings, controls transition, and cleans up mistakes. Modern NBA rules make this duo even more dangerous. Spacing matters more than ever. The pace is faster. Fouls get called tighter. Luka thrives because he controls tempo and forces movement. Giannis thrives attacking space at full speed. Put them together and you get what analysts call unfair math, spacing, playmaking, and downhill dominance all stacked together. That is not just hard to guard. That is almost impossible to stop. Pairing Giannis and Luka is not some wild fan fantasy people cooked up online. There is a real blueprint for this, and NBA history has already shown how these things happen when timing lines up and roles are clear. Look back at Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Jordan was the scorer, the closer, the killer. Pippen handled defense, playmaking, and versatility on both ends. That balance is what turned the Bulls into a dynasty, not just Jordan's greatness alone. Then there's Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant in Los Angeles. Shaq crushed teams inside, Kobe worked the perimeter and stretched defenses. It was chaos for opponents. But it took adjustment. Kobe had to learn timing, patience, and how to coexist with another dominant force before it truly clicked. Fast forward to LeBron James and Dwyane Wade in Miami. Both were ball dominant. Both could take over games. To reach their peak, they had to sacrifice touches, share control, and trust each other. That super team changed how people viewed player-led moves forever. Go even further back to Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. One ran the show, the other finished it. Different ages, different styles, but perfectly defined roles. That duo worked because everyone knew who did what, and they stayed together long enough for it to matter.
Me having my draft pick doesn't work. I don't control the next three. I'm trading you Giannis Antetokounmpo. Your team's going to be awesome. Giving me your draft picks for the next couple of years aren't doing me any good. Do you have third team picks that might be valuable?
That is exactly why Giannis and Luka is not random at all. Luka fixes the half-court problems Giannis has dealt with for years. Giannis covers massive defensive ground so Luka does not have to. One bends defenses with playmaking and shot creation. The other breaks them with size, speed, and non-stop rim pressure. And there is a bigger layer people keep overlooking. Giannis and Luka would not just be another star pairing, they would instantly become the most powerful European duo the league has ever seen. Two guys who came up outside the traditional American pipeline, now potentially leading the NBA together on the biggest stage. Zoom out even more and the Lakers' role becomes clearer. After LeBron, they did not panic. They did not force a fake short window. They waited. Luka landing in Los Angeles was not just a star trade, it was the foundation. He is young, global, and already one of the most influential offensive players in basketball. Add Giannis to that, and the structure becomes obvious. Luka becomes the system. Giannis becomes the accelerator. That is how real dynasties form, not overnight splashes, but timing lining up perfectly. That is why analysts keep saying the Lakers are quietly positioned. You see mock trades everywhere now, not because fans are bored, but because the math actually exists. Salary rules matter. Contracts have to line up. Picks have to move. That is where names like Austin Reeves start popping up. Not because the Lakers want to dump him, but because Milwaukee would demand a real contributor, not just future promises. Reeves makes sense financially and competitively, and everyone around the league knows it. And these deals are never clean. Third teams get involved. A contract gets absorbed here. A pick gets rerouted there. That is how impossible trades suddenly become real. Add timing, public comments, body language, and subtle signals, and you start to see how moves like this actually come together. When global stars are involved, especially European ones, the attention explodes, and that pressure matters whether the league wants to admit it or not. That is exactly why this conversation makes the NBA uneasy. Giannis, Luka, and the Lakers would not just be another strong team. It would tilt the entire balance of power. The East would lose its most dominant force. The West would get even more loaded, and suddenly every front office in the league would be forced to react. At the same time, there is a deeper shift happening underneath it all. European stars like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic are not just participating anymore. They are defining the league. A Giannis and Luka pairing would not be random at all. It would be the loudest symbol yet of where basketball power actually lives right now. That is the real tension. Does Giannis stay loyal to the place that raised him? Or does he chase the strongest version of his career? Is this unfair Lakers privilege or just smart positioning in a league that never stops evolving? And if this really is where everything has been heading, maybe the most uncomfortable question is not whether it should happen, but whether it was always inevitable. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We will see you in the next one.